Hi again, everyone. I hope you're all doing really well. So this will probably be my last video on Muln Automotive for the year because it's New Year's Eve here already. So this will come out on the 30th in the States. But yeah, it's already New Year's here, so it'll be probably New Year's Day before I do another post on here. There's one thing that's worth talking about a little bit, and that's the fact that Muln did not release their earnings results on the 30th, but that's okay. They have actually until the 17th of January to do so. There's a 2-week leeway period there by the Nasdaq. If they fall outside that period, then they get into trouble again for being late with their filings from the Nasdaq. But the release that they did put out with the SEC does sort of show that they believe they should get it in that time. So they've got until the 17th of January, and they said that the reason being that they are still waiting for valuations of assets from some of the acquisitions that they've got, including Bollinger Motors. So that's the reason they've quoted it. Now, it's interesting because the 17th is the last day they have to file it to remain compliant in this regard. And then the 22nd of January, about 5 trading days later, so probably the end of that trading week, that's the last day they have to regain Nasdaq compliance. So a couple of theories here. So obviously on the surface, being late filing a 10K is not great news, but that's okay because they're still within at the moment they're still within the 2-week time frame that they're allowed to have. But it doesn't generally give good sentiment that the company's not organized enough to have their 10K filings ready, or it can often suggest that there are issues with the books. However, there's another take on this. You could sort of make the argument that they've delayed submitting the 10K form, their earnings results strategically, because given that the 22nd of January is the last day they have to keep the stock price above $1, if there happen to be any sort of negative numbers that they need to showcase in the books, this at least kind of buries them for a little bit longer. But it'll be interesting to see how the stock reacts to this slight delay when it resumes trading on Tuesday. I don't think it's anything too major to be worried about. We kind of know that the main thing that's going to be on the two main things that people are going to be looking at, I think, on their books are the state of the assets and debts and assets, because obviously we've got the promissory note, we've raised this extra money, and it'll be interesting to see what their things like their cash balance are. Also, it'd be nice to look at what the overall revenue figure they post for the year will be, and to see if they indeed actually made their delivery milestones that they were aiming for. I think it was 150 of the class 3 trucks that they were trying to get delivered. I can't remember the exact figure of the vans, but the trucks was 150. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Now, I'm kind of leaning towards that it's probably somewhere in between the two, because most companies, when you've been operating for a while, you should have your internal audit and accounting systems in order. And Muln Automotive's been around for a while. Obviously, the acquisitions they've got, they've brought on have to be accounted for as well. But you would think that their team, internally and externally, should be on top of it. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, so that's the main thing that's worth talking about. It was good to see that Muln Automotive did finish positively on Friday. It does mean that we're technically in an upward trend. We've posted, since the reverse split, we've had 2 peaks that have presented higher highs. It'll be interesting to see how, if we fall down any further or keep pushing up, to see if it's going to actually be a proper trend of higher highs, higher lows. But I guess there's a little bit of negativity around this delay. We might actually even see a lower low, but we never really know, do we, until it happens. But going into the new year, I feel quite confident that Mullen should be definitely able to regain its Nasdaq compliance, at least in terms of keeping its dollar price above $1. I think we're comfortably there right now. I think it's 14 more trading days they have to stay above that price to get to compliance. So I think that should be pretty good, and I think we'll see obviously more ramping up of production and deliveries of vehicles. Hopefully Randy Marion can start announcing that they're booking more sales. There's been a lot of speculation that there's a lot of interest in Muln Automotive vehicles. Obviously there was a bit of an issue in Randy Marion acquiring financing to buy the vehicles off Muln to pass on to clients, but that bottleneck seems to be unclogged now, and that's obviously a good positive result. And it'll be just be good to see some more sales be booked, and hopefully Obviously January is an important month for a lot of companies. It's when they start putting into play a lot of it's the start of the quarter, start of the year. So it's when a lot of companies start putting in play a lot of their financial and operational strategies for the quarter and year. And obviously with a continuing transition to EV or sustainable energy, there's going to be more companies looking to go and look at products potentially from Mullen to help them achieve those green goals that they're going for. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we do start to see some more announcements for deals, in that first quarter of next year. But it's been a long time since Mullen's announced anything substantial in terms of sales. So yeah, fingers crossed that's something that comes in the new year's. In terms of what I'll be doing with my stock, I'm continuing to hold my position. Through the year, I did kind of earmark 3 sort of tranches of money that I was going to put into the stock at different times. I did deploy 2 of them, along with a little bit of day trading to get my dollar cost average price out. I'm still in the hole quite a bit at the moment, but so is pretty much everyone. And I don't know if I'll keep that 3rd tranche still on the side to put in at a different point. I probably have missed a low point to get in at, when it hit the 8 cents per share. That might be it. If we post a low point soon, maybe that could be the time to deploy it. But at the moment, I'm still, it's not a big position. It's been a roller coaster of a year. I'm still kind of on the fence if I do indeed want to put a little bit more money into the company. But at the same time, I do feel the company's moving into a better position than it has been throughout the year. But last year, at the start of this year, I kind of thought that Mullen actually had the potential to turn things around. At that point, I thought we were already at a low point, but look how far down we've come since January this year, like 99%, 98% down on the year. So it's sort of shows, the risks of investing in a company like Mullen, a startup which is, high risk, high return. Yeah, anyway, that's what I'm going to do. In terms of posting videos, this year I did find I became increasingly time poor as I had my 2nd child. I also moved to, the country. I've stopped sort of working. I've taken a 1.5 years off work. And it's interesting. I thought I'd have more time and I'd be able to focus a bit more on YouTube, but 2 kids is, it's actually, I feel like it's a more full-time job than, working my full-time job I had before. So, and I was being a professional too. I had a kind of job where I'd be taking homework as well. So it was a very kind of almost 24/7 job. But I feel like the child rearing is, it's a different ball game altogether. You just constantly physically need to be there, and it's very time consuming. As a result, and I don't necessarily like this, but I kind of ended up funneling down and really just making video content on Muln Automotive. If you've been with my channel for a longer period, you know that I used to cover a whole range of topics, both in terms of the different stocks I used to talk about and other content as well. And I kind of really did shift away from that, and it was a little bit unfortunate. I'd really like to try and again broaden what I'm talking about on my channel, but just have to see how I go. I'm not that big on, I do set goals at the start of the financial year, sorry, at the start of the year, as sort of New Year's resolutions, but I don't, I'm kind of a believer that you can set a goal any day you want. You don't have to have a symbolic day to set it. But I think next year I would like to try and again broaden what I post about on YouTube, and I wouldn't mind trying to get back to some of the more edited stuff I've done. Now since coming back, I've just been doing this sort of free form talking to the camera and posting it and just seeing how people engage with it. And I've kind of enjoyed that. It's in a sense been good. I think it's actually probably improved my ability to speak to an audience, unscripted. But as you can see, I'm not the most eloquent person. A lot of ums and ahs, and I do put my foot in things sometimes because I haven't had the chance to sort of edit things. But I do kind of like that raw take. But at the same time, there is something nice about doing a bit of a polished piece of work where you can properly edit it down and put a bit more thought into the final remarks you want to make. So I'll try and get back to some more of that, as well as keeping up my sort of Mullen content. Might be a strategy to kind of, if I do stock videos, is just to kind of cover them raw, and then if I do other topics, just kind of edit. I'm thinking out loud here. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. probably won't post again this year, but you know, that's only 24 hours away till the next year. I hope you guys all have a great new year, and you know, thank